In this lesson, we'll do the first part of our text manipulation tutorial. Specifically here, we're going to talk about concatenate and the ampersand key and how they allow us to put strings of information together. So let's see how that goes. Okay, so the concatenation. Concatenation means to put things together. And so the concatenate function allows us to, form strings by putting different strings in sequence. And so if I say concatenate John, comma Smith, this is equivalent to saying John ampersand Smith, and it will give me the two names concatenated right next to one another. If I need to use a concatenate and I want to add a space, then I need to say concatenate John and then add the space and Smith, and this is the same as if I used the ampersand to concatenate John with a space and then concatenated with Smith, and this would be the output. The ampersand is right above the 7 key, and we can use concatenate or ampersand by referring to cells themselves. So let's go to the text functions 1 worksheet. And so when we come to this worksheet, one of the things that we want to do is to combine the first and last names. And so as we've seen before, we can just use the flash fill functionality, and that works out great. But we can also use the concatenate function, and so we say equals concatenate, and then we pick Nancy, and then if we pick the last name in B5 and say enter, we see that the names are absolutely adjacent to each other. And so if we're going to use the concatenate function, we need to say take the first name that's in A5, and next to it add a space, and then concatenate the last name in B5. And now we get the correct output. Okay, so this is how we get the concatenate. I generally don't use the concatenate function. I think it's easier to construct what we want by just using the ampersand. And so I'm going to say take A5 and add to it a space, and then followed by the last name that's in B5. Sometimes students will try to do this. They will say, I'm just going to put a space, and it becomes just the names. And so if you want a space, you have to put it in quotes. Okay, and now we have Nance Devolio here. So students then say to me, but why are we using all of this concatenate and ampersand when the flash fill works so well? Well, the flash fill works well, but it doesn't work within functions. And so we can't use it with an if statement. If we wanted to check whether the name that a worker has on file matches what they've submitted in a form here, then we have to use the concatenate or the ampersand within an if statement. And so what we're going to do here is I'm going to say if I take the first name, and again I have to add the space here to the last name, if this equals the name that the employee submitted on C19, then I'm going to say no, I don't need to review the record. But if they don't match, then I do need to review the record. That's going to say no, I don't need to, but I see that for this name, Janet does not match Janelle. Here, Stephen is not the same as Stephen, and Anne with an E is not the same as Anne. So I do need to review those records.